we're back with episode 8 of season 4.
At the Mountains of Madness.
The series finale of Sabrina. Full spoilers, just the whole... I've been meaning to do that this whole time, and I'm saying that especially now because I don't know how much we're going to actually recap. I'm kind of just going to dive completely
right in. Okay.
And just say, I thought that was fantastic.
Me too.
I loved it. I really, really did.
I thought it was poignant. It was nice and poignant, and I could see a path forward were they have to kept going. That was such a bad sentence. Had they kept going, I could, like, if we were going to get a season 5, I can see where it would have gone. But
I think they would have.
But it was so nice.
They would have pulled a season 6 of Buffy.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
One of the first times that I really noticed it was Ugly Betty. I'm sure television before 2000 has accomplished things like this.
Of course.
But they went through and gave all of the characters like 90% of a happy ending or like 70% of a happy ending where they really did a good job of sort of tidying up a lot of the loose ends, but it didn't end in such a way, like it wasn't and they all lived happily ever after the end.
Yeah.
And you
can see how everybody else is going to keep moving forward.
It opens the door for fan fiction and stuff. And
I'm sure there's already a buttload.
Yeah, well, sure. But no, I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. All in all, I think it in a broad sense, in a general sense, I think I liked this season better than 2 and 3.
I can say that. Yeah. I really, really liked season 1.
2 was... What was the villain of 2?
Was it not still Blackwood? Yeah.
2 was the one that ended with them putting Lilith on the throne in hell and Nick going, and I guess so the end villain was Lucifer.
Yeah.
They brought in Luke Cook then. Yeah. But yeah, so for me this was on par with 1 and yeah.
I agree.
They handled their cast, their sprawling, radical like cast really, really well. In an attempt to recap it a little bit, we were finally dealing with the Void. We brought out Pandora's Box. It's one of those, like, of course, but also, oh my God. Like,
it's another Deus Ex Machina, if you will, a little.
But there's precedent for it.
Yeah, for sure.
I was disappointed. I mean, I guess it's the Holy Grail conundrum where it's like, I wanted something, like, really snazzy.
And it's just like a wooden box.
It was just a wooden box, and I was kind of like, I mean...
That is what it likely would have looked like in time.
It's actually, in a version I had, it's a jar, a clay jar. And I don't see that hardly ever in pop culture.
That's interesting, yeah.
Which I think would be kind of neat. But, and I really liked The Void. I thought it was kind of interesting how they telegraphed it in episode 7. Because it pretty much was the set that Caliban was building.
Yeah.
That's kind of hilarious.
Cool. It was like a little bit like Janet's Void from The Good Place. And you mentioned John Oliver's Void. Sort of like a big white void with a couple of art.
I mean, that word means something.
Yeah, no, it was cool.
The paintings were interesting because the paintings in the Void were all optical illusions.
They looked like MC Escher.
It was like the hands drawing themselves and the crazy stairs. Yeah. Oh no, did it hit crazy stairs? That set played double duty for Heaven.
Yeah.
Or the Beyond, I guess.
It was called The Sweet Hereafter.
Oh, yeah.
That was up there.
And the 3 paintings were replaced with much more pleasant. It was still all white and
sort of like impressionist paintings instead, yeah.
And I mean, I would hope that was sort of like a waiting room.
Yeah.
And that you're not just there for eternity
stuck
looking
in that
at
place with 3 paintings.
I would prefer something beyond impressionist paintings.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she was trying. It was convoluted.
It was a little so at the beginning, from the Trinket Man, she got Pandora's box, and so she teleported herself inside the Void.
She was trying to trap the Void from within the Void.
Yeah, but then in a weird twist, everyone else around Sabrina was a fucking moron, and we're like, we can't let her stay there.
She had this.
She had it
from moment one.
So covered, and she was like, if I die in the process, it's only what I deserve.
She literally said, "I'm sparing billions."
Yeah, 100%. And she just was like so fine with it. And then they were like, we must call her back into Sabrina Morningstar's body. And I was just like,
because it did start with Sabrina Morningstar dying, which in and of itself was kind of sweet. I mean, it's Sabrina, but I think they differentiated between them enough that it was a little bit.
And I have to pick a little bit of a bone, though, that I am a little bit disappointed that the Queen of Hell can die from like a couple scratches from a mirror coming back through the like portal or whatever. I'm sure there was some sort of trauma mid-flight.
Well, no, I was like, I think given that it was an eldritch terror, I think there was more. But which, okay, I have a mild bone to pick with the fact that we got arguably two things in this season that were eldritch. The like octopus thing.
Yeah.
And then the single most eldritch thing we got was none of the terrors. It was Blackwood's body with the wooden head.
Yeah, it was horrible.
That was the worst thing. It was, oh my God.
Yeah, it was bad. It was pretty bad. Pretty bad.
You know, we've mentioned a little bit in this coverage that, you know, this is a relatively modest production.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with the stops that they were able to pull out.
Yeah, it was good.
And so
a lot of them were like theoretical monsters, you know.
But as you were saying, they pulled her into Sabrina Morningstar's body. And so then she had part of the void trapped in her. And
because they didn't let her finish.
Well, yeah, but they didn't. So we don't know what happened with Lucifer or Caliban. That's the one question mark, because she voided them and they didn't get them out.
Yes, she was like, feel free to leave them there. Well, no, Lilith had Lucifer. He wasn't in the void. Lilith was torturing him.
Yeah, after that they went.
Oh, how did Lucifer get in the void? I don't think Lucifer ever went in the void.
So then we just didn't check back in with
Lucifer. We
just
didn't check back in with Lucifer, yeah.
So Lilith, this is chasing the tail. So Lilith is the queen of hell. It was cool. I like that she had. I meant to mention in like episode 4 that Lilith is like an excellent, not necessarily like strategist. I was gonna say not a schemer. Well,
sort of. Yes. Yeah.
It was when Hilda was talking to her and she's like, you're just going to stay in this room for 16 years. Yeah. And she's like, I've waited thousands of years. I'm not going to let like.
I can keep waiting.
And I was like, she plays the long game. And I like that she kept the Spear of Destiny because useful.
Yeah, 100%. There's always those moments in shows like this where they're like, and then I'll put it back when I'm done. And I'm like, or you could definitely keep it because it will definitely come in use later.
Because you might need to kill a god at one point in season, latter seasons of the show.
You know what it exactly is it's like, it's in Lord of the Rings when he's got all the ghost kings and he's like, I'm going to free you from your service once you help me. And it's like, they help with the first battle. And then he's like, I free you. And I'm like, you've got like 3 more steps to go before you're done. You could have been like,
miles to go before we
today.
Sleep.
How about we free you after today?
So Lilith drained Lucifer's blood.
Ichor, I guess, yeah.
Did they called it something at one point?
Not in this episode.
Okay.
But
and then she like drank it, and so yeah.
I guess she's kind of got powers back now. Some sort of powers back.
Yeah, one would imagine.
Because he was like, I don't give a shit about you, even though I promised.
I really, really, really liked indifferent Lucifer and Caliban. I didn't love evil villain.
Yeah, well, because they were so bad at it. They're too hot to be good at it.
So there was a tear when Caliban got zapped, but and so I'm done with Blackwood at this point, and I'm done.
Well, we're done with the whole show at this point.
He like went. They went to like a mountain, and they did monks, and people came.
Yeah.
And ultimately, they drained the void out of Sabrina,
along with every ounce of her blood.
Well, and that was an impressive effect. The show uses CG very, very sparingly, but the handful of times they have, it's been nice. And the like portal I thought was nice.
Yeah, it was.
They went in and got the people. That was cool. And there was a moment where I thought the whole time I'm like, they're not going to kill her. They're just not. We wouldn't be so lucky. We should be so lucky. And then there was a point where I was like, oh. This is a lot of work that Lucy and Miranda are doing.
Yeah.
That bringing her back would sort of undermine these performances.
Yeah. And then she started seeing all of her previous birthdays and stuff. And
the montage, considering it was not intended. I mean, maybe it's one of the ones where they had a suspicion it could have been the end.
And they were like able to wrap it up.
Yeah. And so the fact that it ended a year, it ended on her 17th birthday with the montages of previous scenes and stuff was all very nice. She died. And now they can all have a moment's rest.
Yeah, that's true.
Their infernal nightmare is over now that Sabrina is out of their lives.
No one's there to fuck it up again.
No, it was. I definitely didn't cry, but I was a little kind of
misty. Yeah, I mean, Miranda. You're right. Miranda Otto and Lucy Davis were like giving.
They got two. They're all. Both of her tombstones were really ornate,
really ostentatious.
Yeah, I love that. Prudence chainsawed Faustus, Father Blackwood, into 4 pieces to scatter at the ends of the earth.
Yeah,
love to see that.
Yeah, it's what she deserves,
and it's what he deserves.
It is it's what
they both deserve.
It's what she deserves in a fun way, though.
Agatha really pulled through. Agatha. She really came through there at the end. She was
like the only one, like last soldier standing for a minute.
She was like Rogue. I guess it didn't end up being Rogue in Days of Future Past. It ended up being Shadowcat.
Yeah.
But she really pulled through there at the end. And so we end with Sabrina in the suite thereafter. And Nick killed himself, which...
Well, sort of. He went swimming in the Sea of Sorrows and got caught in a wicked undertow.
Which... on other shows would make me feel weird.
Yeah. I feel like if
it was Harvey, I would have been like, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Nick Scratch?
He's fine. He's good. He looks weird in beige, though. I didn't care for that. I was like making so much fun of his black turtleneck and leather jacket, and I was I long for it.
They'll be in pandemonium before you know it.
Of course.
Lilith will need something. I don't know. I'm shocked and furious because I thought this was wonderful.
Me too. It's so much better than last season, and it was so much more satisfying, and it's the type of thing where...
It felt deliberate in a way.
And it did feel really deliberate. It felt like everything was plotted a little bit better, even when it was so super ridiculous, and I'm just like... It's the way I feel about Big Little Lies, where it was like, I didn't want a season 2, but now you gave me that season 2, and you're not giving me a season 3, which I want more than I wanted season 2. And I'm just like, I want a season 6 more than I wanted season 5, or I want a season 5 more than I wanted season 4.
But only to keep it going.
Yeah.
This was a beautiful ending, I think.
It really was.
And also the show had the nerve to go ahead and just kill her. Yeah. I liked that. Mm-hmm. I really appreciate. I mean, that's a thing. I mean, that's a trope you run into with finales, killing your main character. Yeah. But this has been a weird year. We've watched a lot of shows, and maybe part of it's getting older, I don't know, but I find myself very whelmed watching a lot of things. I'm like, it was fine.
Yeah.
And by the end of this, I was genuinely excited in a way that like what I was watching unfold on the screen was making me happy.
Yeah.
It was making me like, ooh, I can't wait to see. And that's
I was delighted.
That's just such a not rare feeling, but fleeting, And so anyone out there, if anyone made it to this part of our review and is unsure whether or not they're going to watch Sabrina, I was going to say, I'll say this to people, is that if you're unsure if you were going to watch the season or you gave up on it or whatever, maybe give it a go.
Yeah.
It was pretty great. And
I very satisfying end to the series as a whole, which shockingly took 1 calendar year.
It's
nice symmetry, but it feels like that's too much stuff to have happened in only 1 calendar year.
Well, we've only had it for 2 years.
That's true. That is true. I forgot about that.
So
because they released it twice in a year.
It was like fall, spring. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
So, I hope you enjoyed our coverage.
Yeah.
Let us know if you did. Let us know if you didn't. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Get us views, whichever. If you're gonna hate watch it,
hate watch us.
Get those numbers.
I would love to be hate watched. That's like a goal of mine. We also are gonna put this episode out as audio only, as one whole thing. So I'm gonna do my little outro like normal, so it's there. So you can follow us on Twitter at So I'm Watching, Instagram at So I'm Watching the Show. We also have a website, soimwatching.com, which links out to everything. And other than that, just please, if you are not already watching on YouTube, you can subscribe on YouTube. And other than that, just rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And that's it for us and Sabrina. Bye.